Hello, you wonderful Life Path 5 person. Welcome to your year ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to say a massive heartfelt thank you so much to all of you who supported my work throughout 2022. It really does mean the world to me. I love the way that you guys commented on these each month as they were going by to let me know what was on point and, you know, what kind of came about in maybe sometimes different ways. I love that, and I really love that you guys checked in on them month by month. It really does mean a lot that you stayed with it, that you've stuck with me, that you support me in the way that you do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I really hope that these are just as good, if not better this year. And I really hope that they support you in some amazing ways. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards and this reading with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So this year for the Life Path 5 people, this year is about focusing on expressing yourself. Now, this isn't something that you guys have problems with or issues with usually, but this year it's about expressing the deeper, more creative side of yourself. You guys tend to be really good at kind of, you know, if you fancy someone, if you're cross-watching, if a Life Path 5 person is interested in you, trust me, you will not have to guess. They will let you know up front and center. There's no beating around any bushes with these people, right? They are absolutely up front and center. And you're really good with technical stuff. You're really great with sharing knowledge, information and stuff. This year is a bit more social. Now, your 5 energy is very social in a lot of ways, but this year it's not just about kind of being social for the sake of it or being the life and soul of the party. It's about really connecting with people and expressing who you are at that emotional kind of level. I will say here as well, you've got to dig deep this year and be prepared to speak from within. So letting people know how you actually feel about something versus just what your opinion is or what the technicalities are around what you're talking about. This year you are naturally authentic. Well, I say in general, you are naturally authentic and lively. This year, it's really going to be about expressing that and maybe sharing more of it. So the conversational sleight of hand isn't going to cut it this year. It's a year for you to enjoy tapping into your feelings and sharing those feelings with others. This is a really good year actually for you guys to try new things or try new connections. Associate with groups, network your tushy off. This is a great year to connect to other people. It's a great year to build a foundation of friendship and connection. Now, that's something that you guys aren't necessarily known for. Yes, you tend to have a lot of acquaintances and lots of fingers in lots of pies and all the rest of it, but this year you're really being asked to cultivate a strong energy of friendship, of connection, of communication. This is about really being present, not just for yourself, but more importantly for others and the connections that you can build when you are. If you've been with me long enough, you know I always have notes for everything, and you know, because obviously I'm talking about how your number is interacting with the year itself, which is a universal year 7. If you've never been artistic or musical, find out what you are creative in, right? If you always say to yourself, well, you know, I'm really good at technical stuff, I'm really good at all this kind of thing, but I'm not really very creative. This is a year to find out where and how you are creative. How can you tap into your own innate creativity to really start kind of discovering, you know, are you a dancer? Are you a painter? Are you a singer? You know, and you don't have to be good at these things to love doing them. Oh my gosh, like, yeah. All right. This year, steer clear of gossip, superficial talk, and don't get sucked into the drama. These are things that will naturally pique your interest, you know, because you like anything that's sort of, generally it's things that are fast paced or have like a little bit of a, maybe even a bit of a taboo to them. But this year you need to steer clear of drama, gossip, anything like that that tries to suck you in. Walk the other way. All right. And the reason being is, this year, because it's a universal 7 year, there's a chance that these things will stick, and they'll stick for longer than you want them to. This is a really good year to ask yourself honestly, what do you want and how do you feel this is being fulfilled now or not, as the case may be. Like, what are the things that you really desire to have in your life? How much are they being fulfilled right now, and how much do they need to be sort of not reintroduced, but like, how much more do you need to delve into them? What are your talents and skills? What do you feel like you could develop more of, or give more time, effort and energy to? Could your communicative abilities be refined in some way? And I reckon this year you'll find a way to do it. Like, Life Path 5 people are really very skilled. You know, you tend to be really good communicators anyway. But usually, like, it's either a lot of facts, or they kind of talk really fast, and then bam, they're off. This year, you're going to learn how to do eloquence. You're going to learn how to do elocution, darling, to round out your words, to speak more, to connect more. And this really can be a great year for you if you're willing to do that work, to slow down a bit and be a bit more present. And then finally, what are you ready now to try that you may not have believed you had the courage for or would be any good at? And I challenge you, you guys are in fact, you're one of the bravest, if not the bravest. I'd say it sort of ranges between 1, 3 and 5 for the bravery, all right? 1, 3, 5 and probably 22. Of the numbers, right? Like, you guys tend to be the brave ones. And what I will say to you is, in this regard, I challenge you to challenge yourself, to ask yourself, what would you do if you weren't afraid to fail or looking silly for a moment? It's like when you're learning a new language, right? The reason most people quit is because they don't want to sound silly. So it's like, oh, well, you know, I don't want to say this wrong and then have everybody laugh at me. So what? Everybody starts somewhere, and I challenge you this year to look into the spaces that you know you really want to move towards, but you're afraid to do it because you don't want to be laughed at, all right? In terms of your sectors, money, your financial outlook this year is one of fun, frivolity. This is a year for experiences. This is something that you naturally do very well. This is also a year to do something that you love. Spend money in the places and on the spaces of your life that are going to introduce you to new things, new places and people. And if these can be things that tie you to groups or group associations, you'll get so much out of it. Making more money can come by increasing your connections to the people, taking opportunities that come through friends or creative and artistic endeavors. Love and relationships. So love takes on a light-hearted sort of feel this year, which is something that you enjoy. When it comes to you, like you and your partner, grab your partner along the ride and show them the wonderful madness that is your mind. This is the year to open up and let your significant other into all of the weird, wild, wonderful fantasies that go around your head, the things that you maybe don't necessarily share with just about anybody. This is a year to remember that your partner is your best friend and they are yours, right? This is that year, so make the bloody most of it. If you're single, it's through the people that you know, through the bohemians and the vagabonds that you are aware of and attached to. If you're not attached to any of them, get into some creative field. Go to the dance class, go to the, I don't know, nude drawing class, or do you know what I mean? Like, go to things that connect you with other people. Usually Life Path 5 just kind of flips from one thing to another, and you know, they don't tend to build too strong a connection. This year I challenge you to challenge yourself to do the opposite. If you're looking, this can be a magic time to find someone who gets you and your unique way of being, which is awesome. So for your warnings, wasting money, talking too much and not listening to what people are telling you, watch out for this year, because it's going to be really easy to do. Can all things be that you're likely to be, these are things that people are likely to accuse you of. Like, oh, you never really listen to me, you just listen for your moment to speak. It's not wise to gossip this year. I talked about that earlier, because it will be blown out of proportion or taken out of context. So just be mindful of that. And those sorts of things, like can wreak havoc on relationships. This is not the year, like, you know, everybody usually has a little whinge and a moan about their significant other or about a friend or whatever. If you do that this year, the chances are it will be taken out of context and it's likely to be blown up in some way, shape or form. For work, this is a year, it's not a year for what you know, but who you know. Usually I don't really like things like nepotism. I'm not a big fan of gossiping about people behind their backs or stuff like that, as I'm sure many of you aren't. But this year, nepotism is actually your friend in the workplace. Who you know, who you're connected to, what your connections and your network actually are, really is what's going to be heightening your reach when it comes to work. This is a time to broaden not only your horizons, but also your mind. Don't be afraid to speak on what you feel, and it's also your key to success. What I really would say to you is, this is a year where you don't just drop your opinion, mic drop, and then walk out. Talk about it. Open up a dialogue. This is why I feel the way that I feel about the task at hand. Yeah, like this, you're prone to giving people a little piece of your mind anyway. As am I, don't worry about it. Right? People will always know where they stand with you. Whereas this year, it's not really just about that. You have to explain why. It's not going to be enough this year for you to just say, well, this is how I feel about it and done. You're going to have to open up that dialogue and get into the why. All right, so let's check out your cards for the year ahead, month by month. So your first card out is going to be your destiny card, and this kind of typifies the whole year. It's going to give you a sort of a bit of a feel of what the overview is going on. Then you'll get a direction card, one of each for each month, and then you'll get a key to the year card. All right, so for your January and the year ahead, you have the strength card. Having the strength and the courage to challenge yourself, to allow yourself to be challenged, to go above and beyond the things that you know, the things that are comfortable, the things that are easy. As I said, you are if you're like literally, apart from, like I said, the numbers that I mentioned earlier, you are the bravest number that there is. And for that reason, you're being asked to really go above and beyond what you're used to and what you would usually do. Now, it is worth mentioning, this year, as we come into January, straight away we've got Mars, which will be retrograde in the sign of Gemini. That's been going on for a while, and I think we'll all be very glad that it's over at this point. Mercury will also be retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So if you don't have that sort of initial burst of energy that you were hoping for, like new year, new me, new everything, right? And Life Path 5s love that stuff, and I think it's brilliant. I don't have time for the resolution haters, you know, like people that are like, oh, I don't believe in all that crap, and yeah. I haven't got time for those people. If somebody wants to start a new this or a new that, or, you know, it's new year, new me, you know what? I'm all for it. I'm backing you. I will be your personal cheerleader, because that's what I believe is the way that we should approach each other. Even if someone's failed at something 100 times before, if they have the guts and the courage to stand up and do it yet again, you know what? I'm going to back that person 100%. And if I have to, I might even give them a little boot up the backside to get them over the finish line. That's my way. It doesn't have to be everybody else's. Soapbox moment over. Right, so you're starting the year with those two retrogrades, so keep that in mind. The strength card basically says you have the strength, the grit and the determination to get past this, but January you are going to have to dig deep into some of those reserves. This is a point at which January you're having to show up consistently, maybe without seeing any result at this point, but it's like, you know what? I said I was going to do this, I dedicated myself to it, I'm going to make it happen. For your direction card, to clarify on this, to give it some context, let's say you have, all right, the 10 of Pentacles. All right, look at that, right? So you are starting the year really strong, actually. There's a few things that I want to mention. The Ten of Pentacles can represent a home and a dwelling, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, but the Strength card, just like the Ten of Pentacles, can talk about this. Your physical body, your physical health and vitality are going to be really very much on your mind over the course of January. This is where I think a lot of you are doing what you have to do in order to strengthen your physical self. This could be a new workout regime, it could be a new diet. For some of you, it could literally just be, maybe you started stretching, maybe you started that yoga class, maybe you have started, you know, for a lot of you as well, I actually feel like this might be a moment where you're working on some of the heartfelt connections in your family. If you know that there are rifts, challenges and issues, this could be you, for a select few of you, sort of saying, you know what, let me put my heart to the side. Let me put my feelings to the side, get out of my feelings and do what I know is the right move, which is to reach out and try to reforge a bond or a bridge in some way. Now, what I'll also say to you is the Ten of Pentacles is great for money, finances and resources. This is you challenging yourself to do something that is going to make you more money. It's like you've got this idea, this thing that you might want to be doing, like a home-based business or a side hustle or something like that, and you're kind of like, you know what, I know this has the potential to be big. And it's almost like you're saying to yourself, what's stopping you? What are you going to allow to stand in the way of you achieving this goal? Nothing. All right, for February, you have the Moon card. So revisiting the past here in February, a person, place or thing from your history is coming back into your world at this point. For some of you, I feel like that might be that familial tie or reunion that's coming in. At this point as well, Mars and Mercury will both be direct, which is great. To clarify on that, you've got the Six of Swords. So for a lot of you, February will see you taking a trip down memory lane. And I don't just mean like a proverbial trip down memory lane. This is going back to the hometown. This is going back to your parents' house. For some of you, you could be moving back in with parents, very possible. For some of you, you could be moving back in with somebody that you had parted ways with. There is a reconnection to your past, but it's a journey that you're actually taking. It's a physical journey that you're taking. For some of you, this might literally require a journey overseas. For some of you, this might literally be a journey that you're having to take across the water in some way. Now, the other thing that really feels evident for me here as well is it does look like a lot of you are changing homes in January or February, but the place that you're going to is not new to you. This is a place that your heart has, even if it's not fully there now, this is a place that you have been tied to or, you know, really enjoyed living at one time or another. Like, as an example, I used to live by the seaside, but because I didn't live there by myself, I always know, like, yeah, I would love to go back. But obviously it's got memories of that period of my life and the people, etc. that were there. Does that mean I'll never move to another seaside again? No. Does it mean I'll never go to that one again? Probably not. Who knows? But do you see what I mean? So like February is going to see you reconnecting to your past, but it's a place from your past. And it will be really interesting to see how that plays out. So as we come into March, I didn't have enough toggles for this, but March is a big month. March, May and October. Huge months, right? Pluto will be moving out of the sign of Capricorn into the sign of Aquarius. He's just going to kind of dip his toes, see how it feels, right? Get a little wine on, right? And once that happens, it will probably be about sort of 2 to 3 months-ish, and then it will come back into the sign of Capricorn, and it will stay in Capricorn then until 2024 when it goes in, you know, full time. Pay attention to what's happening around that time, because certainly for the 3 months that follow, because it will really tell you what you're getting more of for the next 20 years. Now, when it comes on top of that, Saturn is moving out of the sign of Aquarius and into the sign of Pisces. Sky Papa is going to be drunk, y'all, and I'm looking forward to it. Right? And on top of, as if that wasn't enough, Mars is moving out of the sign of Gemini, where it's not just been there for like 7-8 months, it's also been retrograde for quite a portion of that time as well. Mars doesn't do great in Gemini anyway, and Mars doesn't do great, it's actually in its fall in the sign of Cancer, but Because it's been in Gemini, another sign that it doesn't do great in, because Gemini is this and Mars just wants that. When it goes into the sign of Cancer, I think Mars himself will actually be very much like, finally, I can just focus on being caring, protective. I can, do you know what I mean? Like I can finally focus on something, even if it's not in the greatest sign that it can be in. It's at least in a sign that just wants one specific thing, and that is going to be the secret to this. If you want to know how all of that speaks to your sun, your moon, or your ascendant sign, the 2023 sign videos are up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. You can get those on the link in the description box below, or one of those little things that floats above my head. They're $4.99 a piece. You can get 3 for $14.97, or you can get the bundle for $24.99. You're getting the numerology for the year, you're getting the eclipse overview, which will not be on any of my other platforms at all. You can only get it as part of these readings. You're getting a 19 plus page PDF, printable PDF of how the big transits of the year are going to affect your specific sign. And as if that wasn't enough, there's also the 12-month tarot breakdown, and there's the lunation section. So there's a whole, trust me, I couldn't have fit any more into these. If you want to get yours, the links are there in the description box below. So for March, you have the Chariot card. So you're definitely traveling. Now, for some of you, it looks like you're doing the back and forth, right? So January right through March, you could be going to one place, coming back, going to the place, coming back. It's like you're going to check something out. You're going to look at things. You're going to scope them out. Does this feel right? Is it the right time? Is it the right person? Like whatever it is, it's like you're making several trips. You're going back and forth on something. Now, in March as well, it looks like this is going to be a very fast, dynamic month for you, just how you like it. Life Path 5 people do not like sitting still or standing still. It's like, oh, you know what? No, please, no more. With this, you have the Queen of Swords. So be mindful of this. And the reason I say this is because the Queen of Swords, like I said, can sometimes be what we fight for or a person that we fight with. This with the Chariot card, I want you to be really mindful about launching straight into a battle or an issue with somebody around this time. You might be tempted to just say, well, you know what? I'm going to pick up arms and we'll go in for it, whether that's legal, emotional, you know, physical, verbal. I don't know why I'm doing this for physical, but do you know what I mean? Like it could get out of hand this year, just because, right? And the year itself is a 7-year. If you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure there's a link to that in the description box below as well. Now, the Queen of Swords, usually an air sign woman, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. She falls with the Chariot card. Don't be quick or hasty to jump into legal disputes. They will last a lot longer than you think they will this year, and the things and the circumstances around them will get murky, all right? Now, that being said, you are traveling. If you're signing contracts or documents around this time, it looks like you're in for a heavy negotiating process, which is not a bad thing, because this is something that you guys do very, very well. You know how to haggle, baby. You know how to haggle, all right? So this might be a time where that kind of thing can be great. Disputes, no, leave it alone, all right? As we come into April, another big month, we have the first of the eclipses in the sign of Aries. This is a North Node eclipse. It's the first one of the cycle, and this is going to lead us, or should I say, whatever shows up here will give you a heads up of what you're getting more of into 2024. All right, so April is a month definitely to pay attention to. For this, you have the Emperor. All right, so for some of you, you could be going back to school. For others, this looks like you're meeting a significant other. If you're single, on your travels, you are going to meet somebody that ends up becoming your significant other. Whether that's by marriage or, you know, all the traditional stuff kind of remains to be seen. But for me, April is a month that's going to introduce you to somebody that will end up being very special to you. For this, you also have the Page of Swords. Paperwork, documentation, whatever you're setting into motion that you're needing to haggle over, the price, the, you know, specifics, your benefits, etc. It could be about a job, it could be about a title, it could be a deed to a home, etc. All of these are very possible, but this is where you're finalizing the paperwork. If you can do it after like the 20, if we say like anywhere from the 23rd of March onwards, you're in the good zone. All right, as we come into May, a packed month again, not quite as big as March, but still pretty big. Jupiter is moving into the sign of Taurus, and Jupiter is going to be in Taurus for the whole 12-month stay. Even when it retrogrades, it will not leave the sign of Taurus. That's a big deal. If you want to know how it speaks to you and your signs, you know what to do. Mercury will also be retrograde at this time in the sign of Taurus, and as if that wasn't enough, there's a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, right? So May is going to be a big month. With that, for May, you have the Judgment card, right? So Judgment is a big card. It's a card of big changes. And I've got to be honest, I kind of get the feeling that on the wider world stage, this is going to see a plan that was, what's the word? It's like a plan that's been set in motion that everybody accepts is like, yeah, this is the way things are going to go. It changes almost at the last minute. That's the feeling that I get from this. And my money is on the royal family. I don't know if you've seen the chart for Charles's coronation, but when they put it up, they were like, oh, and they said, oh, you know, it's happening at this time and this date. And I was like, okay, cool. So I had pulled a chart up, because why wouldn't you? And when I saw it, I was like, they have a royal astrologer. What the hell is this person doing? Like, I was really kind of weirded out about it, because that chart don't make sense to me for a coronation. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but whatever. And I've been talking about that now at the point I'm recording this for weeks, like literally for weeks. So anyway, the Judgment card for you on a personal level, May is going to be a month of profound change. Do not sleep on May, all right? This is going to be a month where things really start to pick up and they start to take you in new directions. You've got this with the Judgment card. Whatever plans you have, you are likely to be working on them for longer than you imagine. Now, whatever documents and paperwork you're signing, it looks like they're going off without a hitch. However, some of your plans are going to be subject to change. This could be down to people in your family, especially if you're signing contracts with family ties, things like siblings, etc. This might be a time where you're having to look at things and kind of ask yourself, okay, is this the right connection for me to make? Another way that this could show up for you as well is your past. Your personal past could show up in a big way here in May, and it might be, it's like, you know, if you made a mistake, or, you know, you got something wrong, or you said the wrong thing at one point, like nowadays with cancel culture, it was like, you know, lives, livelihoods, etc. being ruined out here for things that people said or did like 10 years ago. Like, I don't personally get it, but whatever. Watch out for that, all right, around this. And if something or someone from your past comes up at this time, don't ignore it. Meet it head on, all right? We don't get into disputes. We don't cause challenges or issues, but meet it head on, all right? Now, when it comes to June, you have the Empress, all right? So the Empress has been quite active for this time of the year. So I'm intrigued, and if you've seen the year ahead videos already, for those of you that purchased, thank you. May through August looks like the challenging period of 2023. So I'm wondering what's taking place here. For you personally, this could be about your money, your finances. Watch out for June. Don't get into the gossip, all right? Really important. You've got this with the Eight of Wands. So this is a contract about land, property. This is potentially you beautifying the external aspect of your home. This could be anything from your landscaping, your garden, right through to you're having the facade of your house torn off so that you can build anew. I wouldn't be surprised if you're looking for contractors, etc. around this time. You've got the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Swords. 2 eights represents new knowledge, new information that's coming in. That could potentially be a piece of a puzzle that is some time old. So maybe you had a fallout with somebody over something and you never really understood what it was about. and then suddenly, and it's likely, if this is the case, it will be a woman that you fell out with. And it's like you suddenly get like a piece of information or something is said to you and you're like, oh my gosh, that's what this was about the whole time. So you're getting that insight from something that happened, and maybe you will do nothing with it, but it might bring you the closure that you need here. But yeah, definitely working on the aesthetic part of something. If you're signing contracts around land and or property, this could be really good. You've got the Hierophant card here for July. Look at that. All right, so if you're signing contracts for property, land specifically, like if you're signing contracts around that kind of stuff, this bodes very well. You've got this with the Ace of Swords. That's the money. I mean, yes, there's no pentacles here, but the Hierophant is the institution. The Ace of Swords is the contract, all right? So there's a contract being signed here around money, finances, and resources. What this also tells me, there is an opportunity here for you to advance, especially for those of you that are like climbing the corporate ladder. Maybe you are, do you know what I mean? Like this could be a time where you're really starting to see yourself elevate. It could be the time where you're moving into a position of authority yourself and becoming more of like a working cog within the establishment, etc. For those of you that are spiritually inclined, which, you know, some of you all are to some point if you're watching a tarot reading about astrology and numerology as well. But this, I really like this because I kind of feel like for a lot of you, this is a rededication of your spiritual path. And it's funny because that same combination has come up previously for one of the other life paths, and I can't remember who. And this really feels for me like you're taking on a new religion, maybe you're taking on a new spiritual path, but you're doing this like you're really dedicating yourself to it. It's not just something that you're playing at. Or, you know, like a new title to pick up and put on. This is something you're doing in earnest. For August, you have the Lovers card. All right, okay, I see you. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, your relationship is very much on your mind at this moment in time. This could, especially because you've got this here with the Hierophant and the Ace of Swords, I wonder if this is a choice or a decision that you're having to make around a relationship in response to a new spiritual path. So maybe your significant other is like, well, you know, I don't like you doing all of this stuff, or I don't want you doing that. I don't want you, you know, we've always been this. Why are you trying to change? And I don't think it's a problem, but I do feel like it's going to be somewhere, you know, it'll be one of those things where it's like, we might have to disagree to agree on this. To clarify on this, you've got the Ten of Swords. All right, look, for a select few of you, you know what I'm about to say. If your relationship has already been on the rocks for some time, this is likely to be where it comes to an end, all right? I'm sorry to say that. I just have to call a spade a spade. However, this could also, for those of you that are single, I know you're probably thinking, well, what about us, Raf? For those of you that are single, this could literally be the end of singledom, right? But because you've got this Ten of Swords here and these cards here with the Ace of Swords and the Hierophant, this might be that in order to do this, maybe you're having to convert or to change your religion. Now, the thing about 7 energy, because we're in a universal 7 year, you're going to see a lot of people dedicating themselves to a new faith. Or an old faith, you're going to see a lot of people really getting very deep about their spirituality, about their, do you know what I mean? Like any and all forms of these kinds of things will really be very much to the fore. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Now, on a more personal level, like I said, like this, maybe you have to dedicate yourself to the Torah. And I don't know how it works if you're converting to Judaism. But whatever it is, it's like in order to be with this person, you might have to change something about your spirituality or your life path. And, you know, that might be met with a little bit of contention. I've got to be honest with you. Maybe family and friends are like, you know, well, you know, why are you doing this? Why do you have to change something so big about yourself in order to be with this person? And to you, it's not a big thing. To you, this actually might feel like a very natural progression, and more power to you. If you're happy and this is your person and you feel it, you go ahead and do you, boo. All right, for September, Mercury will be retrograde in the sign of Virgo. And for this, you have the Death card, right? So endings, completions, culminations. You've got this right underneath the Judgment card and the Eight of Swords. So there's a couple of ways that this could show up, but one that does really feel very evident. The Judgment card coupled with the Death card is physical death. This is usually where someone's life comes to an end. I really hope I'm wrong on this front, but September may have that energy with it. And because you've got this here with the Ten of Swords and the Lovers card, there's almost like it's like a transition, all right? And then you've got the Five of Swords with the Death card. So there's a few ways this could show up. That can be actually positive, right? And the reason being is this could bring a dispute, an argument or a challenge or an issue that you've had with somebody could now come to an end. This might be where an argument that's maybe dragged on or been a whole thing and it's like, oh gosh, like really? Like this can be where that comes to a close. It might also be that you decide not to have like maybe something that you know before maybe you were really passionate about it and you felt like you needed to fight for this thing or this person or whatever, and it's like all of a sudden you say to yourself, wow, you know what, Mercury retrograde, I'm rethinking it, and actually I don't feel like this is worth it anymore. For October, packed month, right? March, May and October, like I said, you've got two eclipses, one in the sign of Libra and one in the sign of Taurus, right? And this is how we finish out the year, but it's also how we finish out that Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle. So this is going to be a big month as well. For this, you've got the High Priestess. Okay, so I mean, look, even though there's no Scorpio eclipse at this point, we will be in Scorpio season, right? Well, certainly at the latter end of this month. And I do have money, well, not money, but I've got a horse in the race that kind of says this is very likely to be a point at which we're seeing some big reveal, something that's been hidden that we haven't seen. And this comes up with the Knight of Pentacles. So for some of you, this could be a time where you're stealing away, right? This could be a journey or a trip that you're taking in secret for any number of reasons. What this also suggests, for some of you, this could be about a long-held goal or wish that you are finally ready to reveal to the world. So something that because the Knight of Pentacles is something that doesn't happen quickly. It's something that takes its sweet time in order to become tangible or real. And so some journey that you've been on for a long time, you know, with the High Priestess, hidden thing revealed, this is you finally divulging something. For some of you, this could be where you're coming out. It doesn't have to be sexuality wise, but for some of you, it could be that. For some of you, this could be you're coming out of the broom closet, as those of us in the spiritual communities mention, right? Like this could be where you say, yeah, actually, you know what? I am a pagan, or I'm a witch, or I'm a tarot reader, I'm an astrologer, like whatever it is. This could be something that you've been doing for a long time that nobody has known about. For November, you have the Tower card. So the Tower card has been quite active for the month of November. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Sorry, I think I've cut my face somewhere. All right, now, November, you've got the Tower card with the Four of Wands. So interesting. On a more personal level, this is something that you're going to be really happy about, but it is upheaval. It is shocking news. This can be a surprise pregnancy. This could be, you know what, maybe somebody has passed away and left you a whole bunch of money. This can be, yeah, like it's things that are really good for you, that you really enjoy. It could be as well that you're invited to an event that's like super exclusive that nobody usually gets invited to. And all of a sudden you find yourself like, I've just been invited to do this, this and this. And it could be really shocking. Some of you, maybe you're getting offered your dream job and you're having to move halfway across the world in order to do it. It's really great news, the Four of Wands, that brings a lot of happiness and celebration, but it's something that brings upheaval. And sometimes that is a pregnancy, right? It's like you're pregnant and you're like, wow, that's amazing. Oh my God, I'm pregnant. And do you know what I mean? Like, follow the rest for yourself. December, you have the Devil card. This is so weird because this card has come up a lot for the end of this year. And what's really interesting to me is I'm swapping the decks as I go. So it's kind of like, okay, what's happening in December? Tarot, will you be sharing? We've got the Harvest card. So December of 2023 for you guys is likely to be a month where you are reassessing, reevaluating what, not just what mistakes you've made, but what progress you've made and what it's cost you. This might be a time where you're reflecting on the whole year and saying, yeah, you know what, there's some really great stuff that's happened. Do I think that it was worth it? Not entirely sure. And so this, you know, how you finish out the year is not necessarily going to be easy. This could be, maybe you get that dream job, maybe you move halfway across the world, and then December you're kind of sat there like, yeah, okay, this is great and I love the money and I love being in this wonderful new place, but do I really feel that it was worth it? And there is a question about that. Like, is this worth it? Was it worth it? Do I feel like this was actually, you know, the right move for me? For your key to the year, you've got the Gate 55 and Abundance. Look at that. This is beautiful. And the message behind this card is abundance can truly be yours, providing you allow yourself to feel that abundance can be yours. This is about really genuinely understanding what trust in the universe actually looks like. You're a life path 5, it's a double 5, right? So this is really about not only being like spiritual and connected, it's about truly being yourself, living that authentic expression and showing up in that way, right? And you're very authentic anyway, but this is about sharing that with people rather than just kind of, yeah, this is me, accept it, love it or leave it, I'm on to my next party now anyway. It has to be more than that, all right? This year it has to be more than that. And if you're gonna, you know, if you want this abundance of love, money, resources, you know, a new car, whatever it might be, an abundance of travel, which is very possible, you know, this whole year. Absolutely, we're going to see a lot more travel next year for sure. I genuinely believe that. But you're going to have to really show up. You're going to have to find the not only the mystery in life, but you're going to have to really share some of the depth of who you are rather than just the surface. So your challenge months that you might want to be aware of. March has the potential, but May is a challenge month. August is a challenge month. September, I actually think, will be a very good month. November and December, these are going to be challenge months as well. Your power months, January, strong start to the year, really strong start to the year. I actually really like April, especially for wrapping up projects. June looks nice. July actually looks really good. November looks like it could be either way, actually, to be fair, but it's kind of a mixed bag. That's life, right? With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Check back on these month by month. Let me know in the comments. I love when you do. It's been really great to see you guys posting stuff in the comments and talking about how it spoke to you, how it didn't, how, you know, how it matched up, all that kind of stuff. It's been really great. Thank you so much for all of your support, for all of your kind comments, all of your subscribing, all of it. It really does mean the world. And I really wish you the best of years for 2023. Take care, and I'll see you soon.